Guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are going to be reacting to Miguel versus Hawk. Every season isn't close at all. And so yeah, we're just gonna be giving our thoughts about what this guy has to say about Hawk versus Miguel, and we'll see if we disagree or agree. But if you guys do like Cobra Kai content here on the channel, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And without being said, let's hop into the video.
I'm not going to tell any stories. Miguel and Hawk left the series of Cobra Kai are best friends, and today we're going to be putting them up against each other as they have fought many different times throughout Cobra Kai. So ultimately, let's just see who's better between Miguel and Hawk every season. If you're doing this video, please like for the algorithm. Please subscribe if you enjoy. And thanks for all the support on the previous videos. Gonna try to get this out in 4 days, hopefully 3 days. Hopefully it's not as long as it was for the last upload. Let's get into this right now. Miguel versus Hawk is not very contentious, so I really wouldn't assume that this would take a long amount of time to go over it. Nor do I really think anybody will find most of the things contentious that I say, simply because of the simple facts of literal statements being obvious, watching the show, and just, I don't know, mental understanding.
I think that the only time it'll get contentious is probably during the second All Valley. I think that's where it's going to be like the most contentious at, but every other point it's pretty clear who's better.
Ultimately, all these things put together would pretty much clearly depict who is the better fighter in each season. So let me go through this right now, and you will quickly see that honestly this truly isn't close at all. In season 1, Miguel is clearly the better fighter, because Johnny literally says Miguel is his best student, and he also says that he is the only chance he has at winning the All Valley, since Hawk is obviously in Cobra Kai, and because Hawk hasn't started his training for very long before the All Valley tournament even starts. I think it's safe to say Miguel is well over him. Plus, he can fight relative with Robbie, or better yet, fight Robbie. Well, he can fight relative with an injured Robbie, I'll say. Not necessarily a healthy Robbie, as I do think Robbie is stronger, but that's not really for this video. In any case, Miguel is the better fighter between him and Hawk in season 1, and I would say Miguel will win no to LOW-DIFF just due to Hawk's inexperience. Moving on to season 2.
Honestly, I don't think that the fight would be as clear cut. I think that it would probably be a good fight, but it'd probably be like mid to low diff. Not like, you know, low diff. No. It'd probably be mid to low diff, because we literally see like Hawk, no diff, some pretty good fighters, I'm not gonna lie. Like, he literally just gets hit once and then just absolutely nails, bro, with the craziest elbow I've ever seen. Honestly, that's probably one of his coldest moments out of like the entire series, in my personal opinion. I think that was one of Hawk's coldest moments throughout the entire series. But yeah,
it shouldn't really be that contentious, or honestly, it really shouldn't be that hard to discover who really is the better fighter in the season either. Miguel is once again stated to be at the top of the dojo by Johnny, and he literally even says Miguel has the potential to be better than he ever was, implying that Miguel has more potential than everybody else in the dojo. And if you need any more like proof that Miguel is just over Hawk this season, is pretty obvious. At Coyote Creek, Miguel beats Hawk, and Hawk gets no major buff before the end of the season anyways, such as training or anything of the sort. So I think it's safe to say that Miguel is better than Hawk in this season due to him literally beating him, statements from Johnny, and implications. So yeah, Miguel 2 for 2 so far, and I would also say Miguel will win this season no to LOW-DIFF, simply because bro literally no to LOW-DIFF at Coyote Creek.
No to LOW-DIFF to me is kind of insane. The fight was actually really good, and it's one of the fights that Cobra Kai promotes like all the time. Like I literally, as I was like looking up this video to see if I didn't save it in my watch later, literally, the fight was definitely very lengthy. You see what I mean? If it was him and Tori fighting Hawk, then probably low to no diff. But if it was, or no, it'd probably be still mid diff. But nah, honestly, in this season, it's still like mid to low diff, maybe. Mid to low diff, I think. I would say it was probably just mid diff, not like low diff, because Miguel's actually putting in effort with this. Like, he's definitely fighting with at least like 60-70% if I was to like gauge it. You know, I don't think he was probably going as crazy as he probably could have, but he was definitely putting in work, bro. Definitely putting in work, and I think Hawk was definitely pressuring him a lot.
The only reason Hawk even dealt damage to Miguel in that fight was because he used an outside object like the tree. Moving forward to season 3, I think it should be self-explanatory that this is probably where the video gets a little controversial. As people know by now, I am a big advocate of saying season Hawk 3 sucks and that he is not good, it's not his prime. And also, even for the people that say it's not his prime but say Hawk is busted in this season, need to just stop. Hulk has no feats in this season that are worthwhile to me. Many people will say, oh, well, Miguel didn't do any training this season outside of learning the drum technique. And you would be very correct on this, considering his body was messed up through the majority of it, so he couldn't really train to his fullest level. But where a lot of people make a mistake is, remember how I said Miguel no to low-diff Hulk in season 2? Well, Hulk, if you really want to say because he kept training, he would reach Miguel's level, you would practically be saying that because of this training, he would just now be starting to catch up to season 2 Miguel. And also, it's important to keep in mind that at the end of the season, it's fair to say that Miguel was the better fighter than Hulk, simply because he got his perma amp and pretty mumuch fixed his legs, making him a better fighter. But this is only if you consider the last episode as in full season. I don't think so.
Honestly, I think throughout the season, he definitely is a lot closer. Like, it's a lot closer just because the way that he's able to... Because I'm pretty sure Miguel had a problem with Kyler, like, fighting-wise. And I'm pretty sure during that time, Hawk was better than Kyler. And so, after he got the amp, you could probably say that Miguel has a slight edge. But I think that they're both very close in Season 3, just after the home Christmas fight. So, I think that, yeah, I think it's a lot closer than this guy's probably saying. At least just in my opinion, I think that it's a lot closer. I think it's a lot closer. I think that both of them are a lot more relative to each other in this season, just because, I mean, if we're scaling it, Kyler was getting punked by Hawk, and I'm pretty sure Kyler probably knew that Hawk could probably beat him up, especially the way that he, like, beat the brakes off of Brooks. So, and the fact that Miguel was having a hard time with Kyler, I think that I'm pretty sure they're at least relative. At least just... That's my opinion.
Hulk is just more healthy in the full season, so I would just say Hulk is the better fighter in this season by that logic. But if you want me to say, like, the very last episode of both, then I think it's fair to say that arguably Miguel is the best fighter, simply considering that, plus the writer statement. But once again, I want to keep in mind that the writers were talking about Miguel being the Karate Kid of this generation or something, which absolutely has nothing to do with fighting capability or skill. So I don't really understand how people apply that to saying Miguel is the best fighter in this season, but somehow they twist it and manipulate it so it gets to that point. I don't really understand it. In my personal opinion, I think Hulk wins simply because he's more healthy overall in the season than Miguel is. But if we were just taking at the end, I would say Miguel. So overall, my choice will be Hulk. Now, like I said before, Hulk has no crazy feats, so I would say put him at this level. Like I said before, there are many people that try to say Hulk has the best feats by the end of the season, like throwing Bert through the window and so on and so forth. But there is no real way to know that he was actually the one that performed any of these feats. Also, he struggles against other students in Miyagi-Do that aren't even Sam or like Robbie. So yeah, he's also afraid of Tori. There's just too many things I can go down a list of that just show Hulk is clearly not the best fighter in this season, but I'm not going over it in this video. In fact, I already made a video about it, so go check it out if you want. But yeah, Hulk.
Honestly, Hawk, it was always rolling deep, bro. Like, he always had some people with him. Like, Twin was always rolling deep, bro. Like, oh my gosh. Like, Hawk was always, like, rolling with people. Like, for real, for real. Like, bro was going crazy this season. Like, literally, almost like from season 1 all the way to like season 3, bro was always rolling with people. Like, he always had the crew with him, bro. It was crazy.
In Miguel, I would say Hulk would win Extreme Diff. And honestly, I'm only saying this because Miguel was hurt for most of the season. If you don't take this interpretation, remember that Miguel is...
Honestly, if I was to like think about like Cobra Kai as like an army, Hawk would be the commander. Like, Hawk would be like the general. He would be the general. Like, you got Miguel being the commander, Tori being like vice commander. Like, if you're thinking about like Tokyo Avengers, it would go Miguel and Tori as like the commander and vice commander. Then you got Hawk being the general. And then you got like everybody else just kind of spreading it out amongst themselves. Literally. Like, Hawk was always rolling with people, but they also probably primarily listened to Miguel and Tori the most when it came to, things and stuff like that.
The winner. But I just want this to be said that I'm saying that Hawk is the winner. Moving forward to season 4, we can now discuss even more in detail about this season and clearly see who is the better fighter. This is one of the seasons that I think it's really crazy how much the shift of like who is the better fighter completely changed. When Eli actually started to focus strictly on Miyagi-Do, he became a much better fighter. As I already stated, Miguel and like low-key Hawk would have been better Miyagi-Do students than they would have been Cobra Kai students, just simply because Cobra Kai really never fit their initial personalities at all. And when these two both start to use Miyagi-Do, you can quickly see how fast they catch on to it simply because it just fits their personalities more. Now,
I mean, that's kind of true. When you find like your affinity, it's gonna be easier to move in it. But I think that I think it still fits them somewhat. I think Cobra Kai still fits them somewhat because it's tapping. I think it's good that they tapped into their weaknesses rather than their strengths, because when you start off improving in areas that you are weak in versus improving areas that you are strong in, it's so much easier to improve in those areas that you are weak in because it's easier to level up. But when you start off in an area that you're strong in, or you start off in like a place where you're already like really, really good, it's harder to get better. It's harder to get better. And so you have to like kind of break through some ceilings and stuff like that. But I think it was good for them to start off in those areas because it kind of shaped some of the personality traits that they probably needed to shake off if they wanted to be better, if they wanted to, flip the script.
like I'm going to say right now, I 100% think that Hawk is the better fighter than Miguel this season. He beats Robbie. Robbie beat him at the prom fight. This is a fair scale, considering they were both not holding back. There's no reason to assume they were holding back. Neither one of them were mentally nerfed or anything. It's not really specified. I mean, Miguel doesn't get mentally nerfed till after what Robbie says, so I don't know why this would affect him during the fight. And ultimately,
I think Miguel was mentally nerfed because of what Johnny said after prom, if I'm remembering season 4 correctly. Yeah, like he was mentally nerfed, and so he probably wasn't in it, and then he ended up having like that back injury and didn't want to continue the fight or go out. And so I literally seen like another video talking about Miguel and Robbie and how like a mentally nerfed Miguel was like relative to Hawk, who beat Robbie. So, a lot of people would say that Miguel is the better fighter, and he was just mentally nerfed. But I'm pretty sure this guy's gonna say it's Hawk.
really, I have no reason to say that this is false. So yeah, Hawk beat Robbie, who was over Miguel. Simple as that. Eli or Hawk is better. Now, in terms of their fight between each other, that you might say, oh, well, yeah, the prom fight happened then, and they got like training and so on and so forth. That would completely change the course of this fight. Yes, it would change the fight somewhat, and yes, Miguel was able to put up a good fight, but I think, honestly, if Miguel had continued to win that fight, I think due to narrative, if nothing else alone, Hawk would have won the fight. But yeah, if you want to say Miguel would have won had that injury never happened, I guess it's a fair game. There's really no way I can disargue that. But considering that Robbie performed better than Miguel at prom, these are clear feats that would just suggest, Hawk is above him. So yeah, I'm going with Hawk season 4. And yeah, now it's 2-2. I know you're thinking, how does this get unclose? Well, there are still 2 seasons left, so let's get into them right now. In season 5, I think it should go without saying that Hawk gets a big nerf. One, he loses to Silver Bullet King pretty badly, as he could barely recover from it. When we see Robbie get hit with this same Silver Bullet, he is not only able to continue to keep fighting, but honestly can keep his senses about himself, implying that Hawk is a weaker fighter. Also, I want to clarify that Johnny never said Hawk was on Robbie and Miguel's level. He simply only went with what Robbie and Miguel said, which was that because Eli was the previous All Valley champion, he should, do what he can for Miyagi.
I'm not gonna lie, this Hawk right here, oh my gosh, this was peak Hawk. This was peak Hawk. And I mean, when I honestly, every time I see this scene, and even the scene when Hawk fights Robbie and they both take their shirts off, and he's like dun 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 dun. When you hear that music, you know somebody about to cook. You know somebody about to get cooked. Honestly, if they're on the receiving end of the Hawk, they're getting cooked. They're getting cooked. You see what I mean? But yeah, literally. I would say the Silver Bullet thing. I think someone else talked about it. It was a special technique. Same thing with like the two-handed kick that Robbie did in season 1, and same with the little amp thing that Miguel got at season 3. And so I honestly, I think that this Hawk right here, I feel like it's close, but I feel like he's number 3. Like, I feel like on any good day, Hawk could beat Miguel and Robbie, like, on a good day. And I think his good day was during the All Valley. It was during the All Valley. But yeah.
Or Brunch. Also, by the way, I'm low-key forgetting the word at this very moment in time. Represent. There we go. Represent Miyagi-Do. Because he was the previous All Valley champion, so why wouldn't he represent him? And ultimately, like, yeah, that makes sense, but just keep in mind, Johnny never said that. Also, what Johnny did actually say was that he thought Miguel and Robbie was what they would need to actually win the Sekai Tekai and be able to qualify for being able to even go to Sekai Tekai, going so far to say that now they're on the same team, well, they'll be able to win. So with that being said, I think it's fair to say that Miguel and Robbie are just above Hawk, not to mention the fact that Hawk was struggling once again against, well, completely got no diff by Silver Bullet Kitty, and was struggling to fight Kyler. And no, I'm so serious when I say I've showed this scene before. Yes, he was literally one-on-oneing them. Hawk no diff the other two and was just one-on-oneing Kyler. And this is Kyler just getting clear shots off on him. So I don't know what people are talking about or what they're smoking, but no, he was definitely struggling against Kyler. Now, with that being said, yeah, I got Miguel in that season. So yeah, I would say like mid, low diff. Anyways. Also, wait, just to clear on another argument, people that say because Miguel was like the better fighter in season 5, that's not how that works. Throughout that entire season, we had never seen Miguel fight to his absolute capability. So you can't just upscale Miguel saying, oh, well, if he wasn't nerfed during the tournament, he would be this and this strong, because we truly do not know. So with that actually being said, it's fair to say that the Miguel in season 5 and season 4 are two completely different counterparts, saying just because Miguel won or would be better in season 5, it does not mean he would be better than him in season 4.
Yeah, that's true. Honestly, I mean, in season 5, I feel like Miguel is holding back a lot. Even in season 6, until he fights Robbie. Like, the only time I see really Miguel go all out, is when he's fighting Robbie. Honestly, like, that's the only time I really seen him, or where I'm, like, definitively, like, thinking he's putting in 100% effort to win this fight. You see what I mean? And in season 5, he ends up beating Robbie. When they go all out, when they're like, you know, fighting everything out, getting everything that they need out. And so, yeah, I think that he was definitely holding back, especially at the end of the season where, you know, he like pulled up on Kenny and was like, "Now what you really want to do?" And I was like, I mean, bro, that's why I go. That's why I go. But no, he definitely had like those moments where I was just like, he's not even fighting like crazy. Like, he's just holding people off. Like, if he really wanted to, I feel like Miguel could have put down a lot of those fighters in Cobra Kai during that crazy dojo fight. Like, he could have put on a lot of people, honestly.
Because we never saw that version of Miguel in season 4. Anyways, with that being said, let's go on to season 6. In season 6, I think it's fair to say that there's even more clear-cut scaling that just pinpoints to Miguel being the better fighter than Hawk again, simply because he not only gets special training in the dojo, as well as Sam, Tori, and Robbie, who at this point all were able to get more flags than everybody else in the flag game, which I think is a pretty good basis to say they are better and above everybody else in the dojo.
Honestly, I feel like Hawk got shafted this season, and they like literally nerfed him. Like, they continuously nerf Hawk when he literally should be relative to Miguel, Robbie, and Tori. I mean, Miguel, Miguel and Robbie. He should be relative to those two, in my opinion. Especially because the amount of time that Miguel and Robbie and Hawk trained isn't that crazy of an amount of time. I think because Miguel started training before Robbie, I believe. And then Robbie started training. Yeah, literally. Robbie started training after. And then Hawk joined a little bit after Robbie started his training. So they should all be relative if their growth has been like the same throughout the series. So it shouldn't be like this crazy of a gap. But I think just because Johnny said that Miguel's a prodigy, he probably gets a pass or whatever. But when it comes to Robbie and it comes to Hawk, they should be growing at the same rate. You see what I mean? Honestly, I feel like just because Hawk was used as an antagonist tool, they kind of used him as just like a measuring stick for everyone else. And so he basically just served as like whoever needed to be shown to be strong, just beat Hawk. Literally. You beat Hawk, then you're definitively strong, especially since he's an All-Valley champion. It doesn't make sense to me how he's out of the conversation of the top 3.
And it's like they literally are the only two like people out of each like female and male categories to have captain battles. And not to mention the fact that Hawk not only gets stripped by Devin, implying that Hawk is mentally nerfed here due to the Dimitri stuff. And yes, I do understand that Hawk is mentally nerfed, but once again, this is another situation where if a character is mentally nerfed and we never see them at their full power, you can't just upscale them because you think they would be this and this so strong. So the Hawk that we see on screen is the Hawk we get, and the Hawk we see on screen is 100% below Miguel. It's not even close. So I would say, yeah, Miguel wins, and I don't really need to apply any more feats for this. So with that being said, let's go over them one more time and let's get up to our final goal. Season 1 Miguel, Season 2 Miguel, Season 3 Hawk, Season 4 Hawk, Season 5 Miguel, and Season 6 Miguel. And so ultimately that is the sum total. Yes, Miguel wins more times out of not. And with that being said, that is the video. If you guys did enjoy it, please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, hit a like. It helps with the algorithm. Thank you for all supporting the previous video, guys. Yes, and Miguel is the better fighter overall, 4-2. Yeah. And yeah, I would say this is not particularly close. Hope you guys get something to eat. Hope you guys enjoy this whenever you watch it. And yeah, I'm out. Thank you. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.
Honestly, I think that he definitely made a good point. I think that just out of all those seasons, it's definitely 4-2. It was never like a question for me who was the better fighter, because it was always like established, and it always understood between both Miguel and Hawk. So feel free to tell me you guys your thoughts and comments down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, throw on the notification bell so you guys are up to date with everything here on the channel. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below, whether you guys agree or disagree with me, or even disagree with the guy. The video will be in the link in the description below, so you guys can watch the whole entire thing. Yeah, and so with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.